What's up guys, Jared here, Paintbrush Samurai. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Kazimierz Dabrowski. Alright, now I probably pronounced his first name wrong. I'm not even going to pretend that I can pronounce that name. But Mr. Dabrowski was a PhD psychologist, psychiatrist, physician in Poland. Alright, now this guy had some awesome theories, and his most famous one is personality shaping through positive disintegration. Now what the hell does that mean? Well, we don't know. Just kidding. Alright, no. I recently purchased his book on Kindle and started reading it to find out. And I'm just through the first chapter. There's only 5 chapters in the book. And holy cow. I cannot recommend this book enough. I'm only through the first chapter, so I guess I can't make a proper analysis of how the book's going to go. But this thing is just packed with information. I mean, totally just stuffed to the brim. I mean, this is going to be more information than you got in most textbooks in school, I promise you. Alright, like I said, I'm only through the first chapter, and I'm going to share with you guys a few really good quotes from the book that I enjoyed so far. Alright, so the first one, he says, fasting, exercise in controlling oneself, and asceticism create resistance, strengthen one's moral vigilance, and increase one's readiness to enter a conscious struggle for the sake of principles one holds. Ooh, wow. Let's break that down a little bit. What does that mean? Alright, basically what he's saying here is that if you don't know what asceticism is, it's basically a disciplined life. And when you lead a very disciplined life, you gain a strength to push through and endure things that becomes applicable to all parts of your life. Now, specifically here he's talking about his sake of principles and moral standards that you might have. But I think that you could even take this a step further and say that this applies to just an overall skill or ability to be able to push through tough times. Like, for example, if I begin leading a more disciplined life, then perhaps I'll be able to push through when I'm making a drawing and I'm getting tired, my hand hurts, and it's getting late, but I want to finish this drawing. Maybe before, I would just give up and go to bed and finish it another day. But I can develop this ability to push through and get more done and lead a more disciplined life in all areas. Alright, so I think that was a really good quote, so I wrote it down. Alright, now this next quote, it's a long one, so prepare yourself, but it's good. You're gonna love it. Alright, so here he's talking about individuals with a deeply developed process of disintegration. Alright, what does that mean, long story short? Basically, like we just discussed, his theory is based around personality shaping through positive disintegration. So we can just understand that the shaping of a proper character or person is what he would call disintegration. So someone who's highly developed themselves, okay? This is what he has to say about them. The thought of their own death often conditions the direction of their work. Their deeds, hence in the actions of these individuals, the foremost place is occupied by supersensual aims and by aspirations for immortality, i.e., fame, greatness, perfection. Such men are usually capable of unselfish, sacrificial, and heroic acts. Their attitude towards life includes the need to work for a better future, the tendency to create imperishable, everlasting works. It also includes the belief that deeply felt individual bonds will outlast death. Whoa. Alright, if you didn't catch all that, don't worry, I'm going to break it down for you real quick. Alright, basically what he's saying here is that the most highly developed of individuals understand that death is a part of life. And once they do this, they put death at the highest list of priorities. But why? Why are they so accepting of death if they're going to be great people? And it's their willingness to put death so forthcoming because they're aspiring for immortality. which means that in a heartbeat, a man of this character would die, knowing he would live forever in the hearts and the mind of the people. So who are we talking about here? We're talking about people like a Socrates, right? People whose moral convictions are so strong, referring back to the previous quote, due to their asceticism and exercise of whatever, that they're willing to die for immortality. I think that's really special, really beautiful. It also says here that they have a need to work for a better future, right? So that their work is not for now. These guys aren't doing stuff for now. They're doing stuff for the future. They're doing stuff for everybody. Deeply felt individual bonds will outlast death. That's a big one for a lot of people. All right, I think a lot of people are already doing a pretty good job of this, all right? A lot of these people would rather have highly developed friendships and intimate relationships, because without it, life would be really meaningless, right? Which is going to bring me to the next quotes that I'd like to share with you, all right? These are basically going to be the 3 basic qualities of ideal personality, all right? So, number 1, the fundamental trend of interests and capabilities. It's pretty straightforward, right? The first thing you need to have personality is the ability to have interests, and you have the capabilities necessary to pursue those interests, all right? Socrates said himself, without these things, life would be totally meaningless. Deep words from the smart man. All right, so examples of this: music, education, architectural capabilities, a desire to study nature, travel, so on. Whatever it is your interests are, right? So highly developed in these areas. Number 2, lasting emotional bonds of love and friendship. Symbolized through the Platonic myth, 2 halves of every soul, right? So we've all heard of this, right? People with strong personalities tend to develop relationships that are deeper and more intense, more intimate, more valuable, really. More valuable than life itself. All right, the third one is certain specific unique tone of spiritual life, specific expression or manifestation of which is observed in a man's countenance, eyes, felt in his movements, expression of voice, behavior, personal charm. Now, I think that this is what a lot of people would attribute as personality. A lot of people don't consider those other 2 things. This one's also pretty straightforward, even though it's kind of worded like, you know, a Polish PhD wrote it in like the 40s, right? He's talking about that unique individualness of each person, right? The way that nobody moves quite like you do. Nobody's eyes, when you look deep into them, look like yours does, right? So this is what he's talking about here. These are the 3 qualities, basically, of a developed personality. All right, so I'm going to be talking more about this book. I highly recommend you guys get it. Once again, it is Personality Shaping Through Positive Disintegration. If you own a Kindle, it's like $6 or something. I don't even remember. But definitely check out this book. Know that it's going to be an intense read, and you're going to have to look up a lot of words. Or you guys can just continue to watch my videos, because I'm going to talk a lot more about this. And when I'm finished with it, I'm going to go over and go ahead and do a full analysis of the book. So enjoy this little preview, Chapter 1 of Dabrowski's Theory. I'm Jared, Paintbrush Samurai.